Are you tired of wasting time and money trying to find profitable real estate deals? Well, get ready to become a master at vacant property searches using REIPro. Hey everyone, this is Goff, and in this video, I'm going to share with you how to take your real estate investing game to the next level with REIPro. I'm going to guide you through each step, and by the end of the video, you're going to be able to dominate vacant property searches in REIPro so you can find that next profitable real estate deal. Let's jump in it. Once a month, we're going to target what we call vacant property. So we're going to start with a place. We'll just pick Baltimore County, just kind of start with. We can always add multiple locations. You're going to find a lot more properties with this particular lead type. So when we go over to what you're looking for, you're going to see vacant properties. We're going to go ahead and select that. Vacant properties, we get them once a month. Every 30 days, they come in. They come in directly from the post office. And what the post office says is that somebody that hasn't picked up their mail in about 90 days, they deem the property vacant. We then get that information every 30 days. Generally, it's in the beginning of the month. Here's the trick. There's a trick with vacant properties. A lot of times, these vacant properties are vacant. They're at another property, but they don't tell the tax assessor that they moved. You know, if you think about it, if you left your home today, you probably wouldn't call the tax office to let them know where to send the bill. It's just not something normal people do. They do a change of address through the post office, but that's about it. They leave, but the tax assessor says that they still get mail there. So if you just marketed vacant properties, there's going to be a handful of those properties where the owner mailing address is the property address, but you have the post office saying, we're not delivering mail there. So if you try to send a piece of mail there, guess what? It's going to get returned every single time. That's why it's so important when you do vacant properties. I also want you to click absentee owner. We know that that has a different billing address. Getting marketing pieces to them has now increased dramatically just by doing that one thing. What this is saying, and this is what we call stacking leads. So the property must meet both criterias. Number one, it's an absentee owner. And number two, it's a vacant property. Once we do that, we can now click search. All right, so just here, we have 884. Now, the very first thing that we like to do is to filter this list down. So we're going to scroll down. Now, again, this is the property types is very dependent on where you live. So you have a lot of townhouses.
Yep.
So we're going to keep that. So I think we just keep the single family townhouse, and I would also keep the condo. We get down to property values. I'm actually going to skip the property values. I'm going to come back to that last. Now, when I think of vacant properties, it gives us, obviously, do we know what the seller's situation is? No. Do we know the property's condition? No. Do we know if they even want to sell? No. We don't know anything at this point other than it's vacant and it's absentee owner. This could leave us to multiple strategies. Maybe we could wholesale it. Maybe we could rehab it. Maybe we could sell or finance it. Maybe we could lease option it. So it does open up a lot of opportunity. With that being said, I really like to set the minimum equity percentage at 50%. So I know as an investor that if a property with at least 50% in equity, I can do pretty much any strategy. So that leaves it wide open for us. I'm going to exclude HELOCs, reverse mortgages. I'm going to scroll down. I don't care if we go 3-2-1, 2 1s, 4 3s. I want to leave every opportunity open for you and look at every property because, as you know, if the numbers make sense, it's going to be a deal and someone's going to live there. So I kind of leave this left alone. Now, what I was talking about on Tuesday was between the year 2012 to 2021. If you bought a property, your interest rate would be less than what it is currently today. Wouldn't it make more sense if you were thinking, oh, I want to buy a rental property? Wouldn't it make more sense if I contacted one of these owners that has a lower interest rate and work a seller finance deal? That way my monthly payment's going to be a lot less. You'll find, how difficult can it be today if you actually got high financing costs right here? Would the property even rent out and have cash flow? So each area is going to be different. Obviously, everything really comes down to the price of the property as well, how much money you're putting into it. But at the end of the day, that's an ideal. So if I said the owner owned the property for X amount of years, I can put them in that time frame where most likely they have a lower interest rate than what it is today, which could open up more doors for us. So if I go last sold date here, and I'm going to just go more than 10 years, and that kind of puts us in that time frame. Another cool thing is you can actually do a custom date. So check this out. So if I said, okay, give me 2012 to, we'll just say 21. It's obviously going to lower the number of leads, but I know if one of these properties turns into a seller finance situation, I know that I've set myself up for success, knowing that these properties most likely have a lower interest rate. You're thinking ahead. Now, again, I have no idea if they're open to seller financing or if anyone calls, right? I have to set myself up for that. I do like the individual owned. And again, you know me, I don't care if they live in state or out of state, because if they're motivated, it doesn't matter. And that's ideally what we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and apply those filters. So that drops us down to 91. Now, here's the only thing that I didn't do in the filters was estimated value. Let's say that there were 5,000 leads. What I would then do is use the estimated value to kind of fine tune those numbers to get them down to a more manageable list. Because not everybody can mail out 5,000 pieces of marketing. You obviously have to fall within your budget, whatever your monthly budget is, and then send as many as you can. So in this case with 91, I don't really care what the price points are. I don't care if it's $1 million house. I don't care. But also keep this in mind. Even if it's not a property you don't want, we could wholesale it. That puts us at 91. Now, what are we going to do? We're just simply going to go in. We're going to select all 91 leads. We're going to add this to a marketing campaign. I want you to go by, this is going to be the month, right? So we're going to go vacant January. So remember, once a month, we're going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and add those real quick. Let me go over to them. I want to show you the postcard that I like. Now, you could do more to single mailer, but I want you to, I like doing single mailers until you see what kind of response, because you may want to change the mailer up. The general number 3, I think, is going to be a good one for you. It's one of our most popular ones. And of course, you can always upload a custom card, places like Canva, and make sure you follow the template. Go ahead and select that card. So here under your contact information, you can see that I have several saved. You come in for the first time, the line 1, I want your phone number because it's the biggest line. And then we'll just say website. It's going to be on the card to your top right. You can see the phone number is kind of big. And then.
And is there a return address on these or no?
Yeah. So right below, you could do the exact same thing. You could actually go in and save a return address as well. So if you do, then I would go, okay, I want my return address, which will show up right in there. Yeah, just you want to know what mail is going to get returned. We just don't know why yet. So until we know why, we can't do anything. And if it's getting returned for you, it's getting returned for every other investor out there.
Yeah.
Right? So if you can figure out why it got returned, that might give you the edge to investigate that. It is a process to investigate it, but I could show you some tips as we get there when you get one. Now, if you want a postcard mailed to you, you could do that at the very bottom. This regarding your property address, you definitely want that on. The only time you would want that removed, I could say I don't want that on there, is typically when you create your own custom postcard, because you may be using that space for something else. So you're just going to keep that as is. So when you get to the contact information, you're going to hit add contact info and then save that. So that'll be saved for the future. Your return address, do the exact same thing. And then if you want us to mail you a card so you could touch it, look at it, see what people are getting, you could add that in there too. Now, when I get to the next screen, this is just look at the front and back. Hey, did I choose the right postcard? Number 1, make sure your contact information looks correct. Once you do that, you're going to I approve front and back, hit continue. This definitely want to run the list made service to double check change of address, address errors. It's going to minimize all that stuff for you. So as an example, this may take a second. We have 543 properties in this list. 516 are good. There's address errors on 14 of them and what we call vacant undeliverable. You're going to save not just money on postage now, because now we're only going to mail out 516 instead of 543. If there's an address error, vacant undeliverable, it's going to get returned. And then once you hit continue, this is just the checkout process. If you build, say you do 2 counties or multiple, you can combine all these into one checkout. I might say, as an example, Eric, I might say, okay, I did Baltimore County, boom. I then could go back to my marketing and find my other campaign that I'm also did and go through that process. And then you'll have multiple in the checkout process. The more postcards you order, the cheaper the card gets. Hey, thanks for watching. And if you learned something new, please click that like button. It really does help us out. Also, check out my other training videos, as well as following us on social media. Until next time, happy investing.